Full-time reaction to Celtic 5, Buckie Thistle 0. I've got Martin with me to go over it. Martin, it's always difficult to read into these games against lower level opposition, but what would you make of that 90 minutes?
As you say, I was thinking myself, I was getting really excited throughout the game with certain moves and players that were performing, and thinking, oh my goodness, this team's coming together now. And I kept reminding myself, the opposition that we're playing, the fact that they're fifth tier. Having said that, watched a couple of games over the weekend that were really tight. A good example being the Spartans and Hearts game, where that could have went either way, and even on Friday night the Clyde and Aberdeen game. And I know these are away games for Hearts and Aberdeen, and we're at home and you expect to have a better chance at home, but I thought it was a really professional job. I suppose the first thing to comment on was the manager decided to go really strong.
Really strong, yeah.
Other than the captain, I think it was almost a first 11, really recognisable from the keeper. I know you talked about Bain maybe getting a chance, but the manager was taking no chances. He's never been beaten in the Scottish Cup. I'm sure he wants to keep that going. So I just saw professional throughout the game, and I know we didn't get the early goal, but once we got that first goal, it was just wave after wave of attack.
Aye, as you say, a strong team. McGregor just given a wee bit of an extended rest, which is good news. I know we're panicking if he was injured because he wasn't even on the bench today, but thought we started the game relatively well. We go in 3-0 at half time. Bernardo gets a lovely goal to break the deadlock for us through one-on-one, dinks it over the keeper. I thought after that, we had so many offsides in the first half as well. We had the penalty decision 2 minutes in. There's a 3-minute VAR check. I think it must have been given as a penalty, and then they checked for offside. It was offside. Abada was offside 3 or 4 times in that first half. And obviously it's a bit of a strange game because Buckie Thistle are defending deep. They're just really trying to keep the score down. But I thought there was some good goals, a lot of good movement. Again, Abada kept getting in, but he was obviously offside a lot. I think the standout, there's a few standouts. Matt O'Reilly gets man of the match. Who was that for you today?
So Matt O'Reilly, I think he was involved in setting up 2 of the goals. He played a beautiful 1-2 for one of the goals.
Yeah.
I thought O'Reilly orchestrated him in midfield, whether he felt more responsible in the absence of Callum McGregor or not, but he's just been such a massive player for us this year. We talk about him on this channel most weeks about if he's no man of the match, he's in the top 3 players. It just looks like he's getting better and better, and a lot of chat about will he potentially move away from Celtic now or in the near future, but he doesn't appear to be distracted by that, and sometimes players can get distracted, but he just appears to be enjoying it. I heard Brendan Rodgers talking about, stay here and develop. You are developing, you'll continue to develop here as a player, and you'll get a lot of game time, and you'll be one of the more senior players. And I think he's just enjoying that opportunity and that responsibility. I think today he was a standout, but I get what you mean about there was others as well, and even the guys that came on, some of them performed really well. But I thought in that midfield in particular, the way we were passing the ball about, I thought all the guys in the middle, Bernardo I thought was good. Even Holm, I thought Holm, because
gets his first goal as well.
First goal, I think him and Vata both got their first goal for the club. I think in the 5 goals that we scored, there was 9 players involved in the 5 goals. So, players were coming, goals and the assists were coming from all over the park. I suppose special call out for Abada. Abada was really good today, and a lot of people talking at half time about what a difference in Kyogo when you see Abada just pinging that ball across and picking it out beautifully, and knowing when to do that first time versus maybe cutting inside or taking a touch or recognising that Kyogo's maybe not in the desired place. As you said earlier, I think it was 4 goals ruled offside.
Yeah, incredible.
So we didn't get the timing of the pass right, against a 5th tier club, and you think, well, we should be getting that right, but just a lot more energy and a lot more balls coming in from the wide areas, but also a lot of play in the middle. First time passes and wee triangle passes. So I thought throughout the team there was a lot of star players, but for me it would be O'Reilly definitely.
I thought, to be fair to Buckie, they got a great support, a brilliant away support there. At 2-0 they had a chance, they had a big chance in the game. I think the boy up front, Peters I think it is, goes through one-on-one with Joe Hart in behind Scales, and Joe Hart makes a good save with his foot, and then of course we go up and get the 3rd goal. As you say, a first goal for Holm, that'll help him. I think good to get him some minutes, because I think we might be looking to get him out and loan to get him some game time, because he's struggled when he's had a few starts first half of the season, but good for him to go on the score sheet. And then Vata we see at the end, again linked to moves away this month, but talk in the last week or so that the club might be offering him a new contract. And it's difficult for these young players, isn't it, because there is a pathway there, but Rocco Vata, who can play wide as well, he comes on up front today, but he's barely had a sniff in the first half of the season, and that's an area we've got lots of competition in. So for him, for his career, he might be thinking, well, what chance have I got of really getting game time here at Celtic? but he comes on and he gets a goal, has a couple of other chances as well. But would you make his all-round performance?
It's one of my personal biggest frustrations is that we don't see more of the academy players coming through, and I think one of the big challenges just now is a lot of English clubs are coming in and taking away the star players. So the best of the best, historically, would they have been good enough to break into the first team? Question mark. Well, it's proven that some of them did, but if the English clubs are coming in and taking away the best of the best, then you're left with the next layer down. And then there's a bigger question mark over whether they're good enough to come into the first team. And then when they get their chance, they've got to come in and be absolutely the top of their game, because you're not necessarily going to get a second and a third and a fourth chance. And of course clubs like Celtic and Rangers are under pressure to compete in the Champions League, so they can't afford to take too many risks. But I mean, I would love to see the youngsters coming through. You see the passion coming from the fans when they see one of their own, you know, a homebred player came through the academy, they come in and play well, they just get so much backing from the fans, don't they? So it was interesting, the Vata goal, I think it's Mikey Johnston did particularly well doing that line, cut it back, and you think, well, you know, it's great, and could we see a bit more of that?
And you mentioned Daniel Kelly as well, he came on.
Daniel Kelly as well, and I would love, you know, it'd be nice if Celtic get a wee lead in the league and start to take a chance on a few more of these players, but it's just getting the combination right between bringing in exciting players from out with the club and bringing some of these lads through.
It's difficult to balance, isn't it? The pressure of having to win every week and trying to blood youngsters as well. It is a difficult balance for the manager to strike. I suppose last one in today, 10 days left of the transfer window, one player in. How many more would you like?
Oh, I'd like at least another couple. I think the gaffer's been talking about trying to get 4 in, hasn't he, for a wee while, and will 4 be 3? I know you talked about that on Friday night in your team prediction. So I'd like at least another couple, but it's back to that whole, are we going to sign projects, or they're going to come in and start in the team? You then say, well, who's going to come in and start where? Because you bring in a striker, everybody wants a striker, but you're probably not going to start ahead of Kyogo. So to bring in a starting player, some would say left back. Greg Taylor's turned a corner, he started to perform again, and are we going to bring in somebody that's going to replace Joe Hart? I doubt it very much. So
need more competition at left back though, don't we? Need somebody pushing Greg Taylor.
I don't think we're bringing in starters. I don't know if you disagree, but I don't know where those starters would be now, because in the midfield now we've probably got a good 3 if everybody's fit. But I'd like to see at least another 2 come in that could make an impact off the bench.
Aye, let's hope for more signings this week. We'll be back with you if and when we get some. That's it for Full Time Reaction. Thank you for joining us.